Five. Great. Welcome, everyone, and happy Easter. I'm here with Jess Johnson from Aavegotchi. How are you, Jess?
Hi, Steffi. Thanks for having me. Really good to be back in the show.
Yes, fantastic. So I'm quite excited because first of all it's Easter, and usually everybody is having day off, seeing parents. But what happened is like Christmas, right? You get bored in the afternoon, you don't know what to do. So that's the time that we are going to talk about some exciting stuff like metaverse and also the Aavegotchiverse, which is live now, and I'm only here to understand, what you have done and what I can find in your metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. After the Easter egg hunt, it's kind of like what's next. And actually, that's a really good segue. So, our metaverse for Aavegotchi just went live 2 weeks ago, and it's just the alpha version. We're calling it the Gotchiverse, right? Appropriately so. So, actually has a bit of a Easter egg hunt is one of the metaphors I use to talk about it all the time. And the reason that is for the first 30 days we're doing a play drop. So like airdrops in crypto. This is a play drop where the only way you get the initial allocation of the gameplay materials, which are cryptocurrencies, is to play the game. There's no other way. There's no whitelist. There's no VC round or anything like that. Allocations. No, the only way is to hop in and check out the Gotchiverse. And if you spend some time there, you're definitely going to be able to run around and pick up some Alchemica tokens, which are very important for the gameplay coming soon. And what we call that, when people ask me what's that like, I always say, oh, it's basically a big Easter egg hunt. Like you're out there, you're running around with your Aavegotchi in this kind of 2D Legend of Zelda looking type of game, and occasionally you're picking up these pickups that when you withdraw them at the save point, they actually mint into ERC20 tokens. And there's 4 variations of the Alchemica. So you really do have like Easter eggs. There's the blue ones, the green ones, the red ones. And yeah, so we're celebrating Easter in the metaverse today.
Right, so that was my fault. Explain me everything from the beginning, because first I want to understand how is your metaverse different from Axie Infinity, for example.
Yeah, I'll pull up my screen share here if it works, and that might help as a visual aid. So it's very different than Axie in a number of ways. First, Axie is more of a turn-based type of game style with cute little axes. In our case, you can see we went with a more pixel art aesthetic. These are all the Aavegotchis here. Important distinction too, they're completely on chain, even the visuals. So there's no reliance on a server to preserve the integrity of these NFTs. So unlike most NFTs, when you have an Aavegotchi, you can rest assured that all the metadata, including the visuals, are stored on the smart contract side on Polygon network. We run on Polygon, whereas Axie runs on their own chain, Ronin chain, which is pretty famous here recently for some issues. So we're very happy to be on the best in the best as far as EVM, layer 2 sidechains. Polygon team's super competent and has built an amazing chain for us to build the Gotchiverse on. So yeah, the other thing is we're more of a real-time game. We're not turn-based. And then the other part of this is how guilds can get involved and players can form teams to play in the game. So perhaps Axie's biggest success early on was the ability to bring in incredible guilds like YGG and among many others, CGU. Now many of those guilds and then many of our own community members have made their own guilds on Aavegotchi. And there's one big difference. For what they had as a scholarship program, there was a bit of an HR layer in the middle. And in our case, we decided to start from scratch, look at that model, but try to recreate something better entirely on chain. And the benefits to that are enormous because now you can scale infinitely in either direction. And what I mean is, imagine you own, let's not imagine, I know you have an Aavegotchi. Let's imagine you have an Aavegotchi and you want to rent it out to other people to play in the Gotchiverse. They can play to earn. And and you're happy to share that Aavegotchi, but you don't want to risk losing it. You don't have to do background checks on the players or anything. Instead, you just list it in the lending marketplace with an on-chain transaction. And then somebody else will, via a smart contract, can come in and actually borrow that from you without meeting you, without doing anything. It's much more like Uber or any other sharing economy where two strangers can instantly connect, sign a transaction, they have your Aavegotchi for a few hours, and then you're able to reap the benefits later when the Aavegotchi is safely returned to you. So that's kind of the cool thing. We have Gachi Lending, and if anyone's interested in that, just check the hashtag Gachi Lending, and you'll see like you can get an Aavegotchi for free today and go in and play the game. If not free, very near free. So everybody has their own terms.
Okay, okay. Go, Jess, stop for 1 second. There will be many people there listening. They don't have an Aavegotchi. So let's start from here. How do I get an Aavegotchi?
Right. So the easiest way here, this is Aavegotchi.com. Here's all the cute ones. We're going to enter the app. And oh, we got to get on Polygon. Maybe you've never been on Polygon before. This is the cool thing too. This will automatically connect you to Polygon. Just click here. Your MetaMask will pop up. You're prompted to switch networks, and boom, you're on Polygon network, maybe for the first time ever. And what you see here is the kind of welcome page. If you own Aavegotchis, if you have Aavegotchi NFTs, they're all on the play button. Their Bazaar is the NFT marketplace. We are a full-fledged DAO. That's another big difference with Axie. Most NFT games are out there promising a DAO. We've been a DAO since literally day one. Launched the Ghost governance token September 2020. But here we want to enter the Gotchiverse, but we need an Aavegotchi first. So that's where you come here. These cute little hands holding. That's your Gachi Lending. And so you would come here. And this is a P2P marketplace. Owners are setting their parameters. And if you see one you like and you agree with the terms, you can easily borrow an Aavegotchi. So like, look at this one, the very first one, a little Bitcoin themed one. They will lend you for 4 hours. And the borrower will get to keep 70% of these 4 tokens that they earn in the game. And then the owner will automatically collect 25% at the end of the 4-hour period. So at the end of the 4 hours, it says, okay, here's how much you earned during the game. And it automatically splits it into 2, even 3 wallets. The third wallet, called Other, is very powerful for guilds. This was a request from the guilds when we were building this smart contract. They wanted a way to fund their treasury wallets. So if you have a big guild, maybe 1,000 players, and you want to rent only to your guild members, not to outsiders, you can do that. And then you can set a parameter like 5% of what you earn will always go right back into the treasury wallet. So if there was like a Financial Fox team, you could literally have like the team wallet, the individual owner's wallet, and then the borrower. It's quite powerful.
So tell me about these 4 coins they are here. They come with the Aavegotchi?
Yeah, so these are called the Alchemica, and they are the native tokens of the Gotchiverse that just launched. And so you can see there's like kind of the raw elements of an RPG, like or a crafting game. And that's because in the Gotchiverse, it's not just exploring and Easter egg hunts. That's the alpha. There's also a lot of crafting. And to craft, you actually take these 4 raw elements and put them together. And we had to do this in an on-chain way where we have what we call NFT recipes. And so you want to craft an NFT. You don't just mint it. You actually craft it by getting the right combination of these 4 tokens into a crafting table. So I can go into the Gotchiverse right now and we can have a look at how you would use these 4 tokens. So I'm going to go back to the home page. I already have an Aavegotchi, believe it or not. So I'm going to enter the Gotchiverse here. And it might be a little loud. I turned off the sound here. Let's see if it works. But we're going to hop in with little BTC. This is a cute one. Little mechanical arm. So let's go into the Gotchiverse. I have to sign a transaction. And there he goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're heading in. All right. Every glowing color you see is an Aavegotchi running around.
That's so cute. Okay.
Yeah. So you've got all these Aavegotchis here. Now, some people like to zoom out. They can see the world. But we're going to zoom in here.
Okay. So why one is blue, one is red?
It's tied to the collateral. Every every Aavegotchi has ERC20 tokens staked inside of it. So mine is a Bitcoin themed one because there's wrapped Bitcoin literally inside of it. It's like a piggy bank. And then so the color orange is associated with Bitcoin. But like
just a stupid question. If I have got an Aavegotchi with some Ethereum wrap into there and then I want to have some Bitcoin, so can I change actually the color?
No, each one is when you summon, open a portal, it's like opening a pack of cards. You get 10 randomly generated Aavegotchis. And the deal is you get to choose your favorite one and the other 9 evaporate. Their metadata deletes. Okay. So you have a choice, but you make that choice early on in the summoning stage. So you actually, to bring it to life, you personally deposit a little bit of Bitcoin into it to bring it to life. It's pretty cool. Okay, so we got a little BTC here. Let's look at what we can do with a crafting table. Okay, I'm using a new wallet today. So I have to approve, just like any other on-chain transaction, I have to approve the tokens so I can interact with them. If you've ever been on a DEX or Uniswap, you probably recognize this process. So we'll let that play through here. But there you can see the 4 tokens. We've got FUD, FOMO, Alpha, and KEK. And these are the 4 tokens of the Gotchiverse that we use for crafting and for a number of other utilities coming online over the next year. So we're building things out, literally shipping week by week. We're shipping updates.
Tell me a bit, is there any specific power that those tokens or any specific characteristic of each token?
Yeah, so they are, if we have a kind of, instead of a white paper, we have a Gachi Bible, very appropriate for Easter here. And so each chapter is being published. We're going to be publishing chapter 4 in just a couple days at blog.aavegotchi.com. And one of the chapters goes through like the tokenomics of these 4 tokens. And for sure, like different types of NFTs are associated more strongly with one of these 4 tokens dominating the recipe. Maybe like, for example, Alpha is more for social builds, but FOMO is more for farming builds, if you're going to be farming on your land, that kind of thing. So it's like, which one is the primary ingredient for which type of NFT?
What about KEK?
KEK is the rarest. There's also rarity differences. So FUD is, FUD is everywhere, right? FUD is, everybody's got FUD. So it goes in a descending order. We all got FUD. Sometimes we get FOMO. We love to get Alpha because it's rare. And then KEK is what we're all living for. So we get the KEK when we can. So yeah, KEK is the rarest one. Okay, I'm going to do something else here because it's going to take a while to transfer all 4. I'm going to show you how I can log out right over here. I'm going to quit the game. I'm going to switch back to an Aavegotchi I've played with before in this game. So let's see if that makes a difference. I should be able to withdraw tokens pretty well instantly, do the crafting table. Because I love the crafting table. I want to show you guys that part in particular. So this one is called Emotional Damage. He's one of my favorites. Hey there, little guy. And let's see if we can, we still have to approve. I guess even he hasn't been to a crafting table before. So I'll try again. But yeah, we do have to approve each of these tokens one by one. I wish I could show you the crafting table. It's so cute. So anyway, you would take these 4 tokens, arrange them in a special way, and then you would be able to start building NFTs. And these NFTs are called installations because you will install them on your property. So you see this like blue box, like there's different colors. This huge area here right now is like an empty coloring book. Looks kind of boring. But in the future, the user-generated content, you're going to be able to fill all this in. Imagine coloring in a coloring book. And that's where the user-generated content comes from and all these installation NFTs. You're literally going to be able to make your parcel, your world. And oh, look at this gang over here. Bunch of Gachi gang.
But Jess, is there, I mean, I do have some land in the Gotchiverse. And this is the land, right? This is rectangular. They are all land.
Yeah, this is probably a reasonable or even a spacious sized piece of land. This is really big.
Definitely not what I have, but
no, I don't know which one you have, but these are pretty good sized parcels. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
might
in the
be.
coming months, there's the SDK coming out. You'll be able to actually plug in your own smart contracts and host a dApp, like an access point to your decentralized application here. Um, you'll have tiles where you can color in the floor with whatever you want. There's collectible rare tiles. There's bricks where you basically, like Legos, create what you want for a pattern. And then, of course, all the farming equipment, the lodge to host your guild, and broadcast towers, all sorts of interesting ones. Now, see, there's the Easter egg hunt. He just caught a FOMO. We're kind of all competing to find the Easter eggs right now. There's a green one. I lost it again. So yeah, they're better at playing this than me. This is a road. When you go on roads, you move 2x speed, so you can get around this massive world a little faster. It's a very big world. And once you craft NFTs, they'll go here to your inventory. But as you can see, I haven't crafted any yet. So this is kind of the last step I'd have to show you is then you go find these vortexes in the game. And that's like your save point. And you take your balance of Alchemica that you've earned. Like right now, I have 1 FUD and 0.1 alpha. I go there and I can actually interact with it to do an on-chain transaction and withdraw this Alchemica into my MetaMask or whatever wallet I'm using. So it literally becomes on-chain at that point. You're minting ERC20 tokens at that point.
So there will be Aavegotchi token.
Well, these 4 Alchemica, the FUD, FOMO, Alpha, those are actually ERC20s. Yep.
Okay, so when they come in my MetaMask, under what name they will come? They are gonna come exactly like FUD, FOMO, Alpha, and KEK, and then
Yeah, right now the best way is CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap both already have those 4 tokens searchable, and or you go to Polygon Scan and you type for them, search for them. Because when you use MetaMask, that's more on their side. You have to manually insert the
insert them. Yeah.
wallet, yeah, the tokens.
Okay, and then let's say that I've got I don't know, a couple of FUD and I want to sell them to get some Ethereum, or maybe not Ethereum, maybe Matic.
QuickSwap already has pairs that have gone live for these 4 tokens. So people are trading these 4 tokens on QuickSwap. It's very, very low liquidity right now because we're super early days. As I said, there's really no provisions or big allocations that were going out other than this play drop. So like literally the community is getting the first dibs on the tokens. There's not much to trade yet. This is more like a super early airdrop, but in playable form.
And listen, what are the plan? Perhaps is something that you have discussed with the community to increase create liquidity on QuickSwap.
Yeah, as more items are crafted, some of that crafting recipe that is spent goes to the DAO, and a certain percent goes to Pixelcraft Studios, my team that's building the game. And our intention is to use majority or all of those, at least initially, to bootstrap more liquidity on different exchanges. So we want to support the healthy function of these 4 tokens for sure. And really, so yeah, real quick, looking ahead, like what you see here is the raw play drop. It's the alpha of alphas, and we're halfway through it. So we have 2 weeks of this left, where people are welcome to come in, try out the game, borrow an Aavegotchi, and try to earn some Alchemica, and just get familiar with the gameplay, the very basic elements. The next addition, though, is actually we're taking a breather on the play to earn aspect and focusing on the social aspect. So you'll notice there's no in-game chat here. That to me is really, really important. We want to have the community be able to go here instead of Discord, or in addition to Discord, to actually connect and be together. So right now I can talk to these guys if I can get them to sit still and shoot some emojis at them. That's pretty much my only way of communication. Is I have a bunch of, I can greet them with a heart, I can fire off an exclamation point, things like that. But yeah, the next 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of May are going to be social mode. And we're going to be experimenting and implementing a ton of different chat features to see which ones the community likes, which ones the community don't like, and kind of go from there. And that leads up to mid-May, where we'll have an announcement soon with an exact date. In mid-May, we want to launch the land release. So if you have land, you'll be able to actually go to your land and be able to install your first tiles. We have gold tiles that are limited edition. You'll be able to install your altar, and that's the key. That's like the heartbeat of your parcel. You install that, and then you can go to that once a day, every day, and do an on-chain transaction to pray to the altar, and it will rain down Alchemica tokens on you. So it's almost like a daily UBI. Like you get your fair share of Alchemica every day just for showing up and tending to your parcel. So it's kind of a proof of attention reward. And so that will all start in mid-May. And then from there, we're only another hop, skip, and away from farming. And then eventually by summer, our goal is to get the full melee combat going. Right now, all the gotchis are peace loving. They don't hurt each other. But eventually we want to get outside of the safety of the main castle, the citadel, and engage in some battle with some PvP. So lots of features. That's what I mean by like the game changes almost every month. It's like a new game, and it just gets more and more layers of complexity, but richness on the cake. So we're very early now. What do you
Yeah,
see?
quite exciting. So if we are looking at, for instance, Sandbox and Decentraland,
Hmm.
are you seeing your, what you are creating, perhaps taking something more from the central land, something from the sandbox, or would you say it's completely different? I mean, I see when we talk about the conversation. This is something that for me is quite frustrating on the central land because if you are on a laptop, it's really weird to speak with somebody, and there is not much. It's more like the visual stuff in the central land. I mean, it's still very early stage.
Hmm.
I just wanted to run it to you and see what would you say that perhaps, we might. I don't know something because you are building a metaverse. I'm interested to your thought as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I think some of the problems you're mentioning there, I totally agree with. Like the social aspects have shortcomings, or there's this idea that like in Decentraland, last time I was in there, there was a big event, but we couldn't all be on the same instance together. So what that means is even though we're at the same party, we're standing at the same corner of the same block on the same street. I don't see you, you don't see me because I'm on instance 5 and you're on instance 10. And every instance maybe only supports a few hundred players. I mean, I don't know in Decentraland's case what their limit is, but it seemed to be around that. In our case, we really, this first focus here is packing the Gotchiverse with as many gotchis as possible and seeing what we can handle. Because we spent a ton of time building a custom backend for this. It looks like a simple, naive game on the top with the art direction, but actually it's an incredibly ambitious backend that supports. Currently, we've got well over 4,000 Aavegotchis that are able to run around this world together on one instance.
Okay,
So
so that's basically one plus side would be that your capacity, user capacity is much bigger than what is in the central land, for example.
yeah, they do it, but they do it by breaking everybody into separate dimensions. And
Yeah.
then, oh, look at all the Alchemica that just dropped. Sorry to interrupt, but I got to get a green one. So, yeah, that's an example of what's happening right now. Every 30 seconds, more Alchemica spawns in the world.
So those are the one that the coin that you were getting. Okay.
So, yeah, but back to the important question of what's our goal here, and eventually we do want interoperability with other metaverses. So, metaverse, the word meta, it should be there's only one. So I think of it more as we're building a virtual world, one of many virtual worlds that exist, and because of the blockchain and the standards that come with that, there's this potential to be able to migrate assets from one to the other or to link up in meaningful ways. And so right now I think every virtual world is kind of in its own silo, focused on getting its world to a mature development stage. But yeah, over the longer period here, the reason we're building with blockchain is that these standards can be adopted and we can integrate with one another. So I would love to see an Aavegotchi deployed to crypto voxels or some of these other worlds over the coming months and years. That's kind of the longer game. But right now, we're trying to make a great experience for Aavegotchi owners and people that want to join the Gachi universe.
And what about other chain? You are on Polygon, but I mean, there is a big question right now with everything happening with Ethereum, and is a big migration they have to do to proof of stake, and sometimes I think how smooth it can really go because it was something stupid. You might. I do bar, okay, and I have got this place where I go. They have got a website, and recently they changed their website to a new platform. And the migration of the website, it took 2 weeks, and for 2 weeks I couldn't see my membership, I couldn't book classes. It was just a mess, and I'm thinking, if a simple web 2 app is taking 2 weeks to kind of migrate that customer from one website to the other, I mean, obviously in the crypto space, and I'm sure the Ethereum developers are great, but it's kind of like a big challenge. So what about it goes wrong? Would Matic be suffering of that? And would you perhaps considering kind of like be plugged into Solana, for instance?
Yeah, Solana probably would be the last one just because it's not an EVM compatible
Yeah.
chain. So we would start with EVM ones that speak that kind of Ethereum virtual machine language. That said, there are bridges, and bridges have shown to have their problems here recently. There's been some serious hacks and issues, shortcomings of bridges. So I'm a little hesitant to say like multi-chain is a big priority for us right now, but we're very happy with the experience on Polygon. We do have a bridge that we deployed about 6 months ago to layer 1 to Ethereum. And that alone, that's already okay. We're multi-chain. Aavegotchis can exist on both chains. But beyond that, we're not too concerned. Ethereum team, while there are delays, have always delivered quality product for the great most part. We're super. The level of trust is high on my personal take, or we wouldn't be building on Polygon or Ethereum to begin with. So we'll have to wait and see how ETH2 or whatever they're calling it now plays out, and obviously we'll be paying close attention. But no, we're very happy on Polygon. Polygon has roll-ups and other types of chains deploying over the next year. A lot of people don't know what we're on with so-called Polygon now is one of many chains that team is putting out and deploying, and it's probably, if anything, we would spend more time in the Polygon ecosystem looking at other chains that we have the opportunity with there, if there was a
Yeah,
need and a real use case.
that's interesting. So you think, I mean, Polygon is not a layer 1, but do you
Mhm.
see that eventually it will be like a layer that is not only scaling Ethereum, but it can actually plug into other network?
Yeah. There's already like Binance Smart Chain has a lot of bridges with Polygon, Matic tokens. The withdrawals from exchanges are starting to come online where you can go directly to Polygon from your favorite centralized exchange. Step by step, all of that stuff has been happening over the last few months, and I think the trend will continue. The competency at Polygon team is great, and like I say, as far as uptime and things for the Gotchiverse and Aavegotchi, it's been fantastic. There was like that one downtime on Polygon about 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and that was really widely publicized and kind of a concern for many. But it was also a pre-planned update that just wasn't very well communicated, I guess would be the biggest fault, if anything. But that was a pre-planned update. It wasn't like a out of the blue deal. So yeah, blockchains are finicky, and the proof of stake move is definitely something to keep an eye on. I'll be watching with every update.
But as you said, I think it's important that we kind of everybody knows there are lots of bridges out there. Umbria Network, for example, is one bridge that also your community used quite some time ago. And yeah, bridges becomes very useful. But so yeah, exactly. Let's see what's happened. But very kind of like confident that Ethereum is going to do everything in the right way without any surprise or
Yeah,
bad
that's
surprise.
the number 2 market cap. There's a reason, and doesn't mean the future's not written yet. We will have to see, but very competent people are working hard every day. and we'll see. It might be delayed again. I wouldn't be that would be the most likely scenario, but
Yeah,
I'm okay.
exactly.
We're
Okay,
already.
Jess, maybe
Yeah.
tell me a bit more about, I mean, you talk to your community every day and, you know, you also make your own consideration. Um, you show me what you are actually building right now, what is in the next months, next few months. Okay, let's broaden this plan a little bit more over the next 6 months, perhaps over the next year. What you're trying to build here? What's your vision? What would you like to say to your community? I think that could be a great opportunity, something that we could do. Obviously, if the community would be supportive.
Yeah, yeah. We do Saturday morning calls with the community, U.S. time. It's 10 a.m. EST, 10 p.m. in Singapore time. So that's one of our main touch points where we kind of broadcast what we're working on, progress or hindrances with the dev team. Lately, it's been about the Gotchiverse because that's kind of Pixelcraft's main task at hand. But as you can see here, we are an NFT gaming protocol. So we are not the only ones building on Aavegotchi. It's open source, it's community owned, and literally some of the best talent in the entire NFT and crypto space has taken a look, is building already with Aavegotchi smart contracts. So it's pretty powerful. Right around the corner, there's the community owned DEX. So there'll be a DEX of our own to support in-game assets, and that will help alleviate a lot of the friction for people onboarding.
So,
And
so that just will be like a quick swap, but directly on, basically in the Aavegotchi project. So when I connect my wallet, I can actually swap without going to quick swap, correct?
yeah, yep, it'll be great. And there'll be pairs with our GHST Ghost token, our main token. And then from there, it's kind of up to the DAO's discretion if they want to onboard other projects and grow that as like a full service for anyone on Polygon, or just use it initially. The utility is we need something like that for the game, right? So the DAO is going to be deploying that, and that's just maybe weeks, maybe a month away. We'll have to see how it plays out. Um, then there's the community built games. So the Gotchiverse is just one of many games that can be built with harnessing the Aavegotchis. And so we've got Liquidator's Chase is a really big one being stress test right now. Has nothing to do with Pixelcraft Studios, but it's a very competent team that's been working on it for probably 6 months. And I think we're going to see more news and more. We want to help amplify their message because they're building a very special game that I can't wait to play. It's going to be super, super cool. And we used to have the devs would onboard and community members would try out their hand at building mini games. But I wouldn't even call this a mini game. This is a full-fledged game. And so what you're starting to see is, imagine like Apple Store, but it's the Aavegotchi store. Like anyone can contribute to the project and create something awesome.
And then we Raffles and NFT lending. You mentioned about NFT lending before when for instance, I don't have to own to buy an Aavegotchi, but I can actually rent it.
Yeah.
I can rent it. I can take it from somebody else. Um, how how that is gonna be?
So
I
we
mean,
mhm.
no, no,
those
go.
those are one of the first things we deployed even before the NFTs is our raffles. So you hit on one of my favorite personal parts of Aavegotchi. We partner with Chainlink. Well, we integrate their random number generator to do trustless, verifiable lotteries. And so let me see if I can give you an example right now. If we go here and you can see all the places that Ghost is available, but here, this little guy with the hard hat, we could stake our Ghost. And if you stake your Ghost, you earn like a certain amount of points per day. These are not tokens. These are just loyalty points in effect the balance is stored on the smart contract. And so here you can see if you were to stake, the easiest one is right here. You just stake your Ghost, you get 1 friend point per day, and you would be able to earn friends points. And what you do with those is you go spend them on these raffle tickets. And so the raffle tickets will get you the opportunity to win rare, brand new Aavegotchi NFTs that are occasionally released. I'd say on an almost quarterly basis. In fact, we're a little overdue for a good raffle here. So um, probably some news around that coming soon too. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll have some raffles coming out here soon. We try to do it at least quarterly. And that could be wearables, that
Yeah.
could be land, it could be new NFTs that are going into the Gotchiverse. There's kind of so many things you can do. And like I say, we do like a 3-day open window where you take all the tickets you have and you enter them into the raffle and try to win. They're one-time use tokens, of course. So you use it and it either works or not, just like real life. Um,
Great.
some people, there's also a marketplace for these. So some people actually, if you're just getting started with a small amount of capital, this is one of the best onboarding ways because you can just stake a little bit of Ghost,
I was
get
thinking to actually do it myself with my
a,
Aavegotchi.
you get a token a day. Then you go to if you owned these, you would go to the bazaar, our marketplace, and you come down here and you can see people are selling them right now. And there are buyers. It's a healthy market where you can actually take that, sell it, get more Ghost, restake it, and it compounds. And then you have one of the best compounding assets in really in crypto today. It's kind of one of those best kept secrets. So definitely some alpha there.
Great. Let's go back to the Aavegotchi, because that's the main things that people, they are not already using your, your app. They can do. So we saw if you go into the bazaar, you can rent. What about buy an Aavegotchi?
Yeah, the easiest way to get an Aavegotchi if you want to own it, and then you can lend it out to people and you can play with it, is to come to the bazaar. And just if you want to check the floor, here we go. The floor has risen a lot in the last month with the game's launch. Kind of makes sense. More utility, more people playing. Over 4,000 people playing the game now, so it makes sense. We're at 700 plus Ghost for the cheapest Aavegotchi today. I think Ghost is going around $1.90,
Yes.
so something like that. So that's one way to do it. You can also search by haunt. There are two generations of Aavegotchis, so it could be first generation or second generation. If you're a collector, you might value that, but in terms of utility in the game, there's no difference.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can go
I
from
mean,
there.
I think this is like a very clever way. So at the beginning, you might be renting it, but as you have got more assets, then you should buy and just rent it out because, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds to be the best strategy.
There's good conversations on Twitter about different strategies. Some people play a little bit during the day, and then while they're sleeping, they just rent it for the 8-hour period. So
Okay.
that's kind of cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, you could get one here. If you click on one, you get all the details. Every Aavegotchi has rare on-chain traits on a bell curve. We got to have the bell curve, right? So if you're on the left, you're like calm and gentle and small brain. And if you're on the right, you got a big brained or aggressive or spooky one. So it's like a 50 is the middle, and then you either go towards the left or right side. As long as you're not in the middle, your points are quite valuable. So it doesn't matter which side of the bell curve you're on, just try to stay out of the middle, and then that's a good way to judge the value and the rarity of your Aavegotchi's traits.
Okay, so that's where I was coming. So I mean, one of the things is you go in the bazaar, you want to buy one, you just go with the one that inspire you most, or you are actually gonna look the traits and how can you assess if one has the potential or is valuable or not.
It's to each their own. Everybody has a different strategy. I personally like a few traits, for the traits you can actually upgrade by earning experience points, but very slowly. It takes a lot of experience points to nudge your traits left or right. But the eye shape cannot change. So or the eye color. So
Yeah.
the two eye traits, some collectors really value those because they are immutable and they're not changing. So if you have like this one has great eyes, a 96 and a 99, that's mythical and rare level. That's pretty good stuff. So it depends, but in terms of playing in the Gotchiverse, which again is one of anybody could build a game that takes advantage of these traits. But in the Gotchiverse, by the time we get to the melee hack and slash game mode, where you go outside of the castle and start attacking liquidators and different characters, that's where the traits will come in. Right now, all Aavegotchis play in the world the same.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
as updates come, you're going to have different speed. Like it's really in depth, like MMORPG style game balancing. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, the chapter 4 will cover a lot of what these weapon traits will do to modify your Aavegotchi. So,
That's pretty exciting. There is a lot happening. You just made me I'm gonna just finish the interview and then go and do something here because it's actually quite fun, you know? It's
yeah,
really
it's
fun.
we try to do like crypto. It can be as simple as you want, or it can have a lot of depth, and you can really nerd out on it and dive into all the little intricacies of this on-chain metadata that interacts with one another. But
Yeah.
it can also be as simple as give me an Aavegotchi. I want to run around and do an Easter egg hunt and craft a cool NFT. So.
Yeah, well, listen, anybody that is watching but is not yet hasn't joined the project. So should I go on Discord? That's where all the chat is happening, or they should just follow you on Twitter? Where do they get all the kind of news?
Yeah, so there's blog.aavegotchi.com for guides if you're completely new to it, YouTube videos that are like 60-second onboarding guides. They're great. And then all the recent news, of course. Or the Discord is where the friendliest community in crypto is waiting for you, and they're happy to answer questions and have conversations about their strategies. We're all in there together. We do our meetups on Saturday with the community and a lot of different XP earning events, AMAs, things like that. But Aavegotchi.com, you just go there right now, and the landing page has a ton of the very high level basics. You scroll through that, you kind of get an idea of what you could get into. And yeah, we're all like ever since the Gotchiverse launched, we're a top 5 most active DApp on Polygon, on all of Polygon, a top 20, almost top 10 most active games on all chains. So the lending and the play drop have been immensely successful. And if you're not even interested in the play to earn part, you just want to have a cool game to hang out with and build a game together. This is a DAO built game where you guys are voting on the next feature. That's really the game. That's the best part, is deciding and working together to create a better experience. That's why it's so in depth,
Yeah.
because there's so many big brains contributing ideas here that our core team alone couldn't possibly do it. We just kind of set a framework, and then everybody works within that, and the best ideas rise to the top. So the Discord's great. And then I guess I was going to just say, like, getting involved in the DAO side can also be a game in and of itself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like it's much more interesting to actually, at least in the Gotchiverse, you can do something. You can collect those kind of token that perhaps in the future they are going to have more and more value. You go in a metaverse like the Decentraland, and sometimes you don't do anything. You don't, you know what I mean? You just get in and you hang around, but there is nothing, there isn't a purpose unless, you want to go and explore a gallery, but okay, fine. Where here you actually have a purpose. You are
Yeah,
looking for something. You can, there is a way to make money, which I see more like a concrete way than perhaps what could come in the central land. So I don't know. I just think it's much more tangible what we are getting out of a metaverse like that.
when we started really digging down into mapping out what we want to build, we're huge fans of crypto voxels. I'm a fan of Decentraland. Haven't spent as much time in Sandbox, but I understand what they're doing is a bit more gamified. But yeah, a metaverse doesn't have to be a game, right? So the huge initial utility was bootstrapping NFT showcases, art galleries, like you said, and that's great. And then online meetups too. Like I've had the whip meetups in crypto voxels are extremely, probably the best social experience on Web3 right now. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure it was actually a game and not just a metaverse. Like we needed a cohesive kind of framework. We didn't want it to be too open-ended where it's like, then nobody knows what we're doing. We're just like all standing around. And I think that's what you're kind of getting at there is this is a bit of a hybrid. I always like to say it's like a genre bending, or like it's a cross-genre hybrid type game. It's not just an RPG. It's not just a social platform, but it really is both, and a few other things while we're at it. So we kind of threw all our favorite elements of gameplay, like Clash of Clans crafting, things like that, into the brew here, and the result is evolving in front of us as the DAO contributes and adjusts ideas as we go. But I'll show you one last example for finishing up here is just the
Yeah,
installation.
sure.
This is our latest addition to the Bazaar marketplace. And these are actually an example of what you can build in the Gotchiverse. So if you get the Alchemica, you're able to craft one of these. And so you get the right recipe. It takes a lot of hard work. You play or you go quick swap and you just buy the recipe. But you have to work hard somebody has to go do that. And that's where like the proof of work basically kicks in. This is like our proof of work. And that's an altar that you could purchase. And when land goes live in May, you'll be able to install one of these on your parcel, like I said, to start doing your altar prayer. So this is the first of many, many, many installation NFTs that are coming to the Gotchiverse in the coming weeks and months. And so that's kind of what it looks like. You notice it's growing. That's because like a Clash of Clans style, you're going to upgrade it over time. So you start with a level 1 and you got to get up to a level 9. And there's more utility, more power, more abilities as you level up your various installations.
Ah, it's so cool. It's so cool. So many things that you have got planned. And I mean, I guess the project can be as good as the community is. So that's very exciting. I think it's kind of like a new way to see because with companies with games, you always see they are genial because the people are genial, right? Where being in a place where is your community is kind of like crafting and giving direction where the game is going is something completely different and very exciting as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think it's a compliment to the community and all the hard work that is really a year and a half worth of a project here that's being realized. So it never ends. It's an organism. It just keeps developing in different directions. But it's getting more and more to the point where we can be super proud of it and actually go spend some time in the metaverse together. So we're getting there.
Okay, Jess, thank you so much for coming on today. And I think that was a very interesting deep dive into what you have got right now. And I'm excited to see, the new feature. I'm going to do some, I think I'm going to do something with when trying to collect some points and stake some of my Aavegotchi, that's...
May will come here quickly, and then I'll be coming by your parcel to see if you got the farm equipment set up.
Exactly. Okay, Jess, thank you so much, and I will see you soon, okay? Happy Easter again, and happy Easter, everyone.
Bye-bye.